We are back, episode 143 of the Be Still podcast with Zach and Casey. I'm Zach.
Thanks.
I'm the main. Casey's my backup
Thanks for,
singer.
you get out of here. Thanks for joining us for another week of the podcast. If you're new here, we have a weekly podcast. This is it, the BSG podcast, where Zach and I get on here. We have guests on. We talk about golf. Last week was our Masters recap. Tonight, we have a guest on that is on the PGA Tour Americas, and we'll have him join in here shortly when he jumps in, be a part. But the show tonight, we've got the clubhouse segment, the post-round recap, the drop zone. But first, we can't go any further without telling you about who makes this possible for us, and that is our friends over at Moon Golf. Thanks, Moon. What you going to pull out of the bag over there? Zach, if you're a listener, Zach, I'm going to give you commentary. He's digging through his golf bag over his left shoulder. He pulled out.
I reloaded this weekend.
He did.
One thing you need, if you play often, something to keep your gloves separate, reloaded. All Moon Golf gloves. Same quality as the best. To me, they are the best.
I agree. And I'm not saying this because we're sponsored by Moon, but those gloves right there, you know what? We're not affiliated with this other brand. I've used Vice golf gloves for a long time, for several years. And after a few rounds, they would rip so easily. These Moon Golf gloves have lasted me forever. I'm not just saying that because we're sponsored. You can ask anybody that's using them. They are very durable, very nice quality. And I like having that MG logo on the wrist when I'm getting ready to swing. I look down. I want to see a brand that believes in me right before I hit a shot.
I want to say, honestly, the last time I bought gloves was pre-September trip to Utah.
Yeah, same. I bought one for Utah.
And they have 3 for $25, which I think is fantastic.
Deal.
From what I heard, they're made in the same factory as the other premier brands.
We can trust that source? Where'd you hear that from?
His last name is Moon, and I'll leave it at that.
That's all you need to know.
But that's where they're made, honestly. And they're the same quality. Feel great. I don't notice any difference between them or any other high dollar brand.
Because we're talking about golf gloves right now, which don't get talked about enough. In a sport where everything kind of gouges you for pricing and everything's so expensive, the last thing you want to do is spend $15, $20 on a glove, on one single glove that if you don't take care of, it's not going to last very long. So to get 3 for $25 is a deal right there. Because I think the Titleist gloves are about $18 a pop, depending on which kind you get.
Some of them are like 22. Me and Jeremy really were fans of those Callaway gloves with the flag on them.
Oh, yeah.
They're 25 each.
That's wild.
For the longest, Dick's had a warranty thing you could buy. It was like $7 when you bought the first glove, and you could just switch it out with the same one.
How many times did you do that? You just take it back in there?
Yeah, you just take it back in there, and they could swap it out, and then they ended it because I guess people started realizing how good a value it was.
Yeah.
For a $25 product.
If you're not local to Moon, then you're a listener, then I'm sorry because you're not going to be able to get this deal. But if you are local,
no, you can get it online. You can order it online.
I didn't know it was up and running right there.
It's running enough
to get the gloves. Here, join in. You going to add him to the stage?
Yeah.
What's up, Quinn?
The main attraction today.
Yeah. We got our guy Quinn Riley right here. We went ahead and jumped in, but we're going to throw you in here if that's good with you, if you're ready.
Yeah.
We got Quinn right here. He is graduate of Duke University on the PGA Tour Americas, turned pro in 2022. First thing, Quinn, I need to know, is the hair getting grown back out like when your time at Duke?
No, it's not. It's not, unfortunately. Mainly because I can't.
I was going to say, that was a vibe. I looked at the pictures of you. I said, that's kind of a vibe right there.
My next question was it an issue of ability?
For the hair.
I don't have like hairline problems, but I've got alopecia, so like just a portion of it was it was scar tissue, so I couldn't hide it because it was starting to spread. So
yeah,
the dreads were starting to
you can't have all the talent and the hair. That's what they say talking about LeBron. It's like you can have all the talent or hair. Which do you want?
Yeah,
it's not fair.
You can't have it all.
But anyways, we got Quinn coming right here. Thanks for coming on. First off, we had a goal at the beginning of this year was to get on our podcast somebody on tour that's played tour events. And so for you to be willing to do this is we're grateful for you to be able to jump on here and talk to us. We're so interested in the pro golf world, and a lot of our listeners, when we have a lot of college golfers on, and we get a lot of feedback, but a lot of guys want to know kind of the grind of getting to the tour. So to have somebody that's doing it right now is cool. So let's talk real quick. You made a debut back in 2022 at John Deere Classic. What was that like for you to just jump onto a PGA Tour event like that?
Looking back on it, I can't say. I mean, it was a dream come true. So I felt like everything had crescendoed to that point, and I won at the right time, like during my senior year in college, and I was writing letters in for exemptions, and the tournament director at John Deere at the time was actually really receptive to it and loved my letter. So that opportunity became reality. But like it's a whole different world out there compared to like what you might see on TV and what you might see behind the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of fun, and it was really good insight for me to know kind of what it's like standing out there neck and neck with some of the guys that I've been looking up to for a long time.
Do you think the John Deere tee markers are some of the best in the game? The tee markers in the trophy. I think it's real close between them and the waste management.
The trophy's sick with the deer jumping off the little mountainside.
Yeah. Sick. I think were they the tractor tee markers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the tractors out there.
They had some of the coolest like family activity stuff that I've ever seen. Like you could go drive bulldozers and excavators and all that stuff. Like we had a little fun day where we got to demo all that stuff. So
that's cool.
I've never seen that ever anywhere.
This is for those who are listening or watching the John Deere. It's a big event in 2013 and 2015. Jordan Spieth won it, and then in 2017, Zach's very own Bryson DeChambeau lifted up the trophy. So this isn't just like a little small tournament he got to play in. This is a big time event. Did it feel like different than your other events, knowing it was a PGA Tour event? Like, did you have to kind of put that aside and just kind of try to get to work?
Yeah, I mean, it was different because, people are asking for your autograph, and like, I'm not used to giving out autographs, right. And people want to do interviews with you, and it's like, you got to do media day stuff. You're asked a lot of media obligations is different than what you're used to as like an amateur or just playing college events. You might like fire off a really good round in a college event. You do a post-round interview with some reporter, local guy, but like Monday, Tuesday of that week was just like back-to-back interviews, press, getting on Zoom calls and just doing your due diligence. But it's a lot of fun. It's hard to like schedule around that stuff as a sponsor's invite.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that people might not know. It's just a lot of jumping through hoops while you're trying to get ready for the biggest event of your life.
Was it everything you dreamed of to go from playing college and being real competitive in the ACC to, okay, I'm here. I've made it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wasn't like killing it compared, like all the trailblazers that are on PGA Tour U, they're winning multiple times a year to get on that ranking system. Like I wasn't on that, so was it cool and was it like I'm here? Yeah, but was I mentally like prepared to take on that kind of spotlight? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really cool opportunity, but I looking back at it, I don't think it was just a lot to put on some kid's plate that hadn't really been kind of prepped for it. Like that wasn't part of my expectations. So it was like a dream come true, but then it's also like, okay, you're expected to play really, really good golf against the best players in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a lot to handle that week. But I'm like, it's the best week. That and the other couple PGA Tour events are like the best weeks of golf I've ever had in my entire life.
Is it one of those things? Do you think the school could, or like college programs in general, could better prepare? Because golf, it feels like it's totally individual. It's all on everything you do. So when you finally make that step, it's like, okay, good luck. It's like when you leave high school and go to college, you always hear the professors aren't going to help you, and the whole time it's totally different.
Yeah, I mean, what they could do, I don't know that they could really prepare you for it. It's such a different, like going from college golf, you're on a team, you're like playing against the same 5 guys in your lineup or whoever's on your team, doing qualifying, and then you guys go travel to the event, and then you're playing against the same school, same players. And then like the cream of that crop is what's now on the PGA Tour. So like all of the world beaters from their college days are the guys that are out on tour, and they just have it. They like know what they're doing, and they've been doing it a while. So some of them are like really receptive, and like if you want to ask them a question, they'll be like, "Yeah, man, I'll show you around, like show you the ropes, show you how to do like hit certain shots, how to play certain holes." But then a lot of guys are really just going through the motion because they're grinding and trying to keep their card and get FedEx Cup points and all that.
So for those listening that kind of they're new to this the life of playing on tour and stuff like that, walk us through that week specifically, and then I kind of look at a week for you now, but a week of getting ready for a PGA Tour event, like your practice, your how much access you had to the course to actually get some practice rounds in, if they did pro-ams and all that kind of stuff.
So I kind of came straight off of we had just played regionals for our spring kind of postseason, and then I got word that I was playing in the tournament. So you're coming straight off of playing, which is good. And then I got in on Sunday and played like 9 holes before they even set up for the practice round. But like the rough was up, they hadn't trimmed the rough, so I went out there with like a full bag of golf balls on Sunday, and I didn't know how far any of the holes were. I didn't have a scorecard or anything, and I lost like probably 6 golf balls in the rough just in 9 holes because it's like 6 to 8 inches long before they cut it for the week, and I'd never played Deer Run before, so I mean, I was like, holy crap, like if this is what it's gonna be like, we've gotta keep our ball in play this week. And so that was Sunday. Monday you have to do a lot of like media stuff, and then they've got a pro-am, I think probably starting around noon, which is it's long and it's carts on path, so it's fun, but it's 6 hours of like in the heat, lots of pollen because everything's blooming up there at that time, and you're just trying to do your best to figure out what you're going to do for the rest of the week on each hole. And so you do the pro-am, call it a day, maybe practice after that, maybe do some media stuff after your practice round, and Tuesday comes around, that's when you actually get to do like your full practice round. Just I think I still had media obligations, but I got a full 18 holes in and practiced afterwards. Wednesday, they cut it short, so they have a Wednesday pro-am, and if you're not in the Wednesday pro-am, they shut the course down for everybody. So you can either show up like at 6 a.m. and get off before they start that, or you just call it a day, like a practice day, and try to make your last minute adjustments. For those guys that don't really like, some guys come in and play 9-9 Monday, Tuesday, and then just take it easy Wednesday, relax, and then start Thursday. But for a guy like me, like I'm trying to get as many reps in on the course. So I think I showed up early Wednesday morning, played 9 holes, and then practiced afterwards, or tried to. But I think they shut the facilities down for the pro-am to warm up. So it's kind of just like you got to get in what you can get in.
Yeah.
And then Thursday comes around really fast. and I think I don't remember what wave I had first round, but I mean I was holding it together come Thursday, and then I just ran into a bad stretch of holes where I hit some bad putts and let a few get away from me, and then it kind of just spiraled. But then, Friday, I bounced back. I think I shot like 3 under that round. I was like 5 under through 15 and made a double bogey coming in. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it was a good showing second round. Like I felt like I showed what I had to shoot under par there, and I don't think it's the hardest golf course they play, but that was kind of my first taste of playing a tour setup on a TPC course, which was really valuable for me because I learned quickly that, I've heard Justin Thomas say, like I hate TPC courses because, and I understand that because the landing zones on TPC courses are like you don't really want to hit it more than like 290 off the tee. And unfortunately in the summertime, my ball is flying like 305 and it tightens up for longer hitters. So that's why you get a lot of guys like who can play well around there that aren't the longest. But if you're solid and keep your ball in the fairway, like you have a huge advantage over fields on those kinds of setups.
I want to know for someone your thoughts on the road to the PGA Tour. Like in baseball, you got the minor league system and all this stuff. If you were to take the money out of it, like the cost of playing events, the cost of traveling, do you think it's laid out well to try to get to that level? If money wasn't an issue, like the path, the step. And you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. If you think it's gonna.
No, I'm not worried about it. I think if you go through, like money aside, if you go through it all successfully, you definitely earned it. Like you more than earned it. I think the golf you have to play to get to that level is, I mean, you should get like a giant bonus if you get your tour card just for how hard it is to get a tour card.
Yeah.
Going from like bottom of the pack to top of the ladder. Like if you do that all the way through the way that they have it structured, you should get like probably a winner's check when you get your tour card. But unfortunately money is a part of it. And I don't agree with kind of how top heavy, the payment structure works for mini tours going up to developmental stuff and then PGA. That's why it's a grind. So you might have like the world's best player who just can't get out of Korn Ferry or can't get out of Latin America because the competition is just that stacked even at the lower levels.
Yeah.
And you're one, like to play a full season on America's tour, it probably cost $65,000, like from start to finish. And I played 6 events in Latin last year, made 2 cuts, and only made $1,500.
That's crazy.
And I spent roughly like 18,000.
Just for 6 events.
Because you're just traveling, and then I didn't even use a caddy in Latin, so I was carrying my bag when I could. You have to use a caddy for the weekends, and you can use a local guy and pay him like $40 a day, but you have to make the cut to even like need a caddy. But some guys pay for their caddy to travel with them to each event, and then that's just a huge like extra cost that gets added onto that.
Yeah.
Do you think physically it's worth it to have the caddy before you make the cut? Do you think you're any more wore out from walking the 18 carrying?
100%. Yeah. It's a huge advantage because, I mean, where we were playing, it was like 8,000 feet elevation.
Oh, man.
And the sun is beating down on you. So you're like low on oxygen and you're hot and dehydrated. And
low ozone that high too. The sun's coming through hard.
Yeah. So by the time you get to I lost like I don't have that much to lose, but I lost like 10, 15 pounds playing 6 events in Latin America.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We got Sky Miles. We're ready to come. We'll rotate.
We'll come We'll caddy. As long as you let's put a GoPro on our chest, we'll caddy. That'll be our payment. So then I guess when you hear stuff like that, the only thing I question, and I know you love the game and you love the sport, but like what keeps you going when you're averaging, if you do make the cut, $750 a thing compared to spending 16 or 18,000? Like what keeps you going for this ride? Was it that taste of a PGA Tour event? You're like, I know I can get there, or is it just you just love the game so much?
Yeah, I think the 3 tour starts I got showed me like what's out there and what like the level you have to operate at, and I think that's totally within me. But you really have to have like all those guys have solid teams behind them. So, you know, you've got a support system, you've got a lot of self-belief, which I feel like I have that. But you have to have like people that are investing their support into you. And what keeps me going is just I know I have it. Like I know if I get good enough, like I'm capable of doing, going through Korn Ferry and playing on the PGA Tour. Like I'm more than capable of doing that, especially with just like what they're doing with the golf ball. Like I'm swinging at the same speed. If I'm one of the longer players, if you were to put me on the PGA Tour right now, like I'm up there in club head speed and ball speed. Like, so if it's a power game that they're, considering the sport now, like I'm right there. Like I'm part of that pedigree. But there's a lot of other stuff that kind of comes along with that, with control of the golf ball. And that's the stuff that I kind of need to develop, or I've been developing since those tour starts. And that's, once I know I have that control, like it's totally within reason.
So really, you got the dog in you. You just got a couple tweaks, and then you're there 4 days every weekend.
Yep.
Which PGA Tour event did you enjoy the most? The Wells Fargo, the Shriners, or the the John Deere?
The coolest one, like I'll always look back and remember, is the John Deere, because I had my family with me, and it was just really family oriented that week. So there was a lot of get to know everybody that helps run the tournament, and everyone's super nice. Same thing with Shriners. Shriners was great too. It was just kind of, it was just kind of like, okay, after the first time, you're like, okay, well, we're coming back, and we've got to like show what we've got. And so I'm a little bit more, trying to do business, like trying to make sure that I have it. And so I'm more and more focused each time. Wells Fargo, I got sick with COVID like early in the week. And so that was almost like torture trying to play that event, even though like I'm not going to withdraw because it's just a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
But I mean, my caddy had to carry like a snot rag in the bag, and it was like green by the end of the round.
When you're at TPC for your first one, are there any tears going around with the family? Like, I made it. This is what I worked for to get here, and here I am.
Yeah. Like before I teed off my first round, my mom congratulated me, and she was kind of worked up about it, and was just really proud of how far I've come. Because a lot of people like have like a parent who kind of pushes them, or is like their sounding board, or who's like helped invest in their like career up until that point. But my mom's, through amateur golf and junior golf, was paying for everything, and but I never had like someone driving me to do it. I was kind of just doing it on my own, and that's what I wanted to do. So she was just really proud of me that week.
Was there, at any of those events, was there a moment you saw someone, a tour professional, that kind of took you away, like, yo, that's wild to see them here and I'm playing against them? Was there anybody on tour that you thought of like that?
That I was impressed by?
Yeah. That you saw their game, you're like, well, this is a little bit better than I thought.
So when the first 2 events, I was kind of just doing my own thing. I was like, I'm trying to get the most out of me. And then the Wells Fargo came by, and I think that was a stronger field than the other 2. And I was on the range that week at Quail, and that golf course, like that's the epitome of like fast and firm for what I was used to. It's a long golf course. Like normally I don't ever have 4-irons into par 4s, but I had like 4-irons and hybrids into some of those par 4s.
Right.
And I was on the range watching like Keegan Bradley and Rory hit, and they're hitting their long irons like into a window I've never seen anyone hit a long like a. And so I'm sitting there trying to like figure out how that's even possible, because I've never seen anyone do it. Like you can get away with hitting it pretty low in college, and because the greens aren't that firm.
Yeah.
But out there, like if you're on a par 3 and the pin's on like a back tier and it's like 198 yards and you're trying to get it on that back tier, whatever's coming in needs to like land and stay relatively close to where it lands, or else you're basically landing it in your number and it's just going off the green.
Yeah.
So that was like super eye-opening, because I went back out to watch some of the guys play after I played the first round. And I think it was 17 at Quail, that par 3 with the water. Like I was hitting a 6-iron and couldn't get it up high enough. So wherever my ball landed on like the front third of the green, it rolled like pretty deep. And I was watching these guys hit 7-irons that just went to the moon and then landed and stopped like relatively close to where they landed it. And I was just like, that's exactly the thing that I don't have that would make playing a golf course like this super easy.
Yeah.
And so that's been like my life's work since then, is just trying to figure out how to hit the longer clubs a little higher.
Yeah.
Because that's just the control aspect of it. Like their targets are bigger because their ball doesn't move once it lands with those clubs.
That's crazy. I guess when it comes down to a caddy, do you have a go-to caddy, or how does a pro player pick that out? You have a buddy from college or anything that does it for you?
For my first 2 starts, I stuck with the same guy. I don't know how I got in touch with him. I think he used to caddy for one of the Ortiz brothers. But it's kind of just go with whoever you feel like is going to help you the most. Sometimes it's hard to come by. So, you know, I know a lot of players are really picky about who they put on the bag, but when you're a sponsor's invite, you're just kind of like, yeah, man, let's try to make the cut. Like I'll give you, you know, we'll go 10, 8%, and then flat rate if we miss the cut. Like, but let's just go have fun and try to get the most out of it. And that's kind of what I was doing. For Quail, I had somebody I know who I've played with in Canada and Latin. He's like a assistant pro out there, so he was willing to carry my bag, and he knew the course, so I trusted that.
Yeah.
But man, it's a learning curve with caddies for sure. We had a kind of a situation at the Shriners where, you know, that course is at, I think, 6,000 or 5,000 feet elevation, something like that, to where you're taking like 5% off at some parts of the day just to adjust for like the elevation. But just the process of doing that, like I was doing the math because something wasn't right through the first round. And I was like, I'm standing over these short irons and the number doesn't feel like it's matching up to where I'm trying to hit this. And the first hole of the second round, I was like, hold on. Like everyone stop, because this doesn't make sense. We're taking like 5% off, because I already adjusted when I warmed up, I already adjusted all my yardages to the elevation on a GC quad.
Yeah.
Right. And then we're also taking 5% off the yardage that we're looking at when we're standing on the hole. So I was like,
you're way off.
So we're potentially like between 10 and 12% taking off when it's only supposed to be 5.
Yeah.
And so I'm having to hit these long irons or these short irons. It wasn't adding up. So I was like, we need to stop. And then by the second hole of the second round, he was like, actually, you know what, you're right. Like we're doing this wrong. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little late now.
Yeah, it's a little late.
You could have helped me out yesterday.
Right.
I guess that's one I was going to ask you. Like, I guess the advantage of having your caddy like that knows your game compared to you just picking somebody up the week before, like, hey, will you carry my bag for me? I guess it's a big advantage than having somebody that knows your swing, knows your numbers and everything.
Right.
I want to ask you, on Instagram, I saw the other day you started like a hole-in-one kind of challenge, like till you get your next one. How many days do you think it's going to take you to do that? Are you only doing one a day, like one swing a day?
Anytime I'm playing like a par 3 that looks hole-in-oneable, I'm gonna try and just get footage of it.
Yeah.
Like if it's a 200-yard par 3, like I mean, I could stand up there all day and it might not go in. But if it's like 140 yards, 150 yards, like I'll try. That's gonna be like just maybe twice a week. I'm doing that. That particular hole at my home course, it's pretty doable. It's like 135 yards to a front pin.
So if you had to put a number on the attempts it's going to take, what's the over-under for us? What are you setting it at?
We got DraftKings on speed dial, so this will mean a lot.
We're about to lock it in.
I'd give it somewhere between 10 and 20.
Man,
it might happen between 10 and 20. Yeah.
Yeah. So you think if you got if you already got on a simulator as well and you tried it, do you think you can get it within that many shots too? If you're hitting the same hole, same club that many times in a row? These guys are good.
I would probably give it under 40 shots on a simulator.
That's impressive. Y'all are so good at golf. It don't make no sense. All right, I want to ask you real quick. So, schedule coming up, like lay out some of what you got for 2025 for us so we can kind of keep up with you.
So, this season's a little up in the air. I mean, like I said, the money issue is kind of a thing where, you know, it's good when it's good and it's not great when it's not great and it's a hustle. So,
yeah,
like I'm doing US Open locals here at my home course coming up beginning of May. I'm doing APGAs through the rest of the season. And then I just played in a one-day Coastal Players Tour event today in Pinehurst and just got back from that. So just like local stuff that I can drive to. And then we're just trying to, when I can, do Monday qualifiers for Korn Ferry. I'll be doing the one for the UNC Health here in Raleigh, and then I think the next one is the NV5, so I'll be doing that, and just trying to like stay fresh and ready for those throughout the season, and try to get one of those under my belt to where I can get through early enough in the Korn Ferry season to where like it makes sense if I play well, I can potentially make, you know, some progress off of that, gain some momentum, and maybe, you know, do what some of these young guys are doing, which is pop off in your first couple starts and end up with a tour card at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's what I'm not frustrating about golf, but the thing for an average listener that someone doesn't study, it's hard to keep up with there's so many different tours. First off, it's hard to know what's what. And even like if you're a baseball fan out there, you know what the steps are to the pros, but I feel like golf is so I don't know, you know, it's just crazy. You've got the college guys that are doing the PGA Tour like they've got a better system now than guys like you. I believe that it's almost easier for them if they're playing really good golf now to get up there compared to what you are. But like we love seeing these stories like this where you're just going after it. Like that's what we like. So we want to ask you too. We have a bunch of gearheads that listen to it. Like you're a Callaway golfer. What do you have in the bag?
So right now I have the Elite Triple Diamond Max driver. It's like I don't know if that's being sold retail, but I think it's like a bigger version of the Triple Diamond, but not the standard head. So it spins a little bit more and I think is a little more forgiving than the Triple Diamond, bigger footprint. 3-wood, I'm actually back in my old Rogue ST Max. I had that custom built for me when I was at the John Deere, and that's just great. Do you want the shafts too?
Well, you don't have to, because I don't know, a lot of people, we kind of like that kind of stuff, but I know a lot of people listening may not know what the shafts even are. You may,
So
yeah, I don't guess they may not know.
So driver, I've got a Ventus TR red. I think it's like a 6X. And 3-wood, I've got a Graphite Design Tour AD. I think that's an 8X. And irons right now, I've got the 2023 TCBs with a Project X 6.0. Wedges, the Callaway Opus stuff. That's been pretty good. And putters have been all over the place. I mean, I have my go-to, which is my broomstick, the Odyssey Jailbird 380, the one that Shay was using for a little bit, and then like I've got an arm lock putter that was built for Webb Simpson in the bag that I use today, and then I've got like closet full of stuff that I just tinker with.
Feeling that day.
Yeah.
Have you tried the lab at all?
Oh, here we go.
It feels like it's one of those things when it's bouncing around the lab, like
everybody's using it now.
Centers in on guys.
I have an appreciation for how they've designed it and like the engineering that's gone behind those heads and those putters with the shafts that they put them in. But like I think with the Jailbirds, everything's a fad. So when DJ and J Day were winning everything with the Spiders, everyone switched and transitioned over to a Spider because we were all trying to use like Scotty Cameron's.
Yeah.
But everyone sucks with blades, so we moved to a high MOI kind of blade-like mallet. And then now guys are trying to do the zero torque thing, and all these manufacturers coming out with zero torque, and I think it's just a fad. I mean, I don't know. Has anyone won with a zero torque putter yet this year?
Oh, this year I don't know. There was last year.
I don't think so.
Last year I think there was lab winner on tour, but this year I don't know if there has been right now.
It's kind of like that. Like if people are winning with it, then I would say then there's probably an advantage there to using it. But like if it's just your favorite player, and then guys are like, oh, he putted really well. That's usually how it works. Like these PGA Tour players will go out and do a practice round, and then some guy rolls it really well, makes everything he looks at.
Yeah.
And then he'll go wander over to the lab guys and be like, oh, can you make me one? And then he's using it, and then other people catch on, and then now three of your favorite players are playing it, so you go out and buy one.
Right.
And so that's kind of how it works. And then now you got every manufacturer making it because it's selling like hotcakes.
Yep. And they were kind of popular a little bit, but when I think it was last year when Phil Mickelson put it in the bag and it broke news, that's when a lot of people were like, oh, let me grab one of them. Let me get one of them. He was one of, not the first on tour, but one of the first big names to throw one in his bag and use it on tour.
What ball are you playing?
Right now I'm playing the Callaway Tour, the Chrome Tour, and it's just the regular one. I was using the Chrome Tour X, but it's a little firmer, and I like the cover feeling softer. So when I'm putting and hitting wedge shots and iron shots, I like feeling a little softer cover. So I switched to the Chrome Tour.
Well, man, we love it. We're rooting for you anytime you had an event going on. And so we're appreciative that you even came on and took time to talk to us tonight. And kind of for some of our listeners and us, help explain. A lot of people think it's just one level. It's called pro golf, but there's all these different levels to get to where a lot of guys want to be. So if you to lay it out like this, and has helped a lot of people tonight. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're ever in the Atlanta area and you just need someone to carry the bag, you can do the reads. We'll just carry it.
Yeah. Don't ask us for a read. We'll carry and we'll keep our mouth shut.
I'll dial you guys up for sure.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Quinn, we appreciate it. Everybody, you can go check him out on Instagram. And we've got the over-under to, we'll set it at 17.5 on his hole-in-one. That's what we're setting the number to. So we'll see if it happens. Appreciate you, Quinn.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. See ya.
See ya.
All right, everybody. That was Quinn Riley, go check him out on IG. Man is grinding after. You love to see it. I don't think I'm built for it. Like, even if I was a good golfer, I don't know mentally if I could do it.
I know you play on the weekend, you have a couple bad holes, you're like,
yeah,
this might not be my day. And then if you think on their level, it's like, this might not be my day. I still got a mortgage to pay. I got to turn it around.
And it's one of those things too. It's like, how long do you let yourself go for it until you're like, because golf is one of those, like, you can get like, for instance, Zach was in a little putting funk for a while, and then out of nowhere he broke out of it. And now
he's on fire. I played Saturday, still on fire. There was a couple holes. Jeremy was like, me and Jeremy played this weekend at Stillwater, and there's a couple where he's like, I'd already counted that one as my hole.
But like,
it wasn't.
The funk you were in lasted, I'd say, a year or longer. Like, how long would you be willing to do that on tour, losing money until you're like, I can't figure it out, I'm done?
I hate to lose $5, much less. Because I mean, a lot of the events, like Quinn was saying, he paid 18, 20 grand and he brought home $1,500.
He said he made 2 cuts out of 6 events and averaged $750 an event is what he brought home, which is crazy.
Because that's not counting your food or the regular life stuff like your cell phone.
Yeah, that's not so many of those guys are living in cars. Like our guest last week said, he's living in his car for a few events. It's just you're trying to cut costs as much as you can.
Yeah.
And so, but go check out Quinn. Show him some support on Instagram. Let him know that BSG sent you and all that stuff. And as we continue the show, real quick, if you're a watcher, if you're a listener, I'm not going to give anything away. If you're a watcher, there's a few things behind us that coming up.
We just highlight it, like little fireworks off of it.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about it yet. It has been signed and official. We're just going to do an official release probably in 2 weeks, maybe. When we get some photos and stuff taken. But if you recognize the logo back there, you know what we're talking about. Let's transition real quick to this was a pretty big week in the PGA Tour. Justin
2 back-to-back huge weeks for golf.
Justin Thomas finally did it. Has 16 wins on PGA Tour. And I saw this today. You probably saw it as well. With that win, he joins elite company of the only other people to win that many times before the age of 32. Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Johnny Miller, Tom Watson, Tiger, and Rory. And the first thing I thought was, didn't realize how good JT was until you see stats like that.
Or the course record stat.
Yes.
It's like 9.
Yeah.
Course records.
Because you think, obviously, I think of Justin Thomas. I know he's good because I've watched golf, I don't know, since 2011 or 2013. And then that's when he's kind of dominating. But then people who just jumped into golf now, they probably don't think of Justin Thomas as, a big top name. But then he wins and he gets put in company like that. And you're like, oh, he's not that far off from.
He's got what? 1 major?
I think he's US Open, I think.
Yeah, I think it's US Open. It's not PGA.
But big time for Justin. It was over 1,000-something days. So
1,064.
Yeah, until his last win. I think personally, he's one of them guys that this is going to kind of kickstart some stuff for him and help him.
There was a couple times last season where he'd play really well, and then he just couldn't close it, and you're like, he's about to turn it on. He's about to turn it on, and then it just didn't.
I think we need to see how many days ago was the mic'd up moment that lost him that Ralph Lauren sponsorship compared to these wins. If they're connected, in his
no, because he won his major after that.
Okay, in the Grayson. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I do like JT personally. I think he's very fun for the game of golf, and he's very honest. And especially when he does like these on course interviews, he's just a funny guy. You can tell he's just a guy.
He seems like a bro.
Yeah.
Especially like you see the clips when him and Spieth play together.
Yeah, they're just being funny, hanging out.
How'd you lose just 2 or whatever?
Yeah. But like Zach was saying, he has 9 PGA Tour course records, and one of them is a 59. Imagine shooting a 59 solo. That's insane.
That's hard to do as a scramble.
Yeah, 59.
Up close.
I had a buddy of mine, Trip. He's a big listener. He'll be listening to this podcast. He said he played in a scramble today. He lives somewhere over in Georgia, and was saying that the winning team was like a 46. And I used to, I think. Yeah, I used to I was like, oh man, they shot good. But after seeing doing the breaking 50 challenge, no way.
No way. It has to be
They're lying.
perfect.
Yeah. Because with Scott and Maddox playing at their course or Maddox's course he knows very well and just
At the
barely getting a 40.
Reds.
Yeah, getting a 49. Barely. There's no way. I need to look
There's some miracle putts made, miracle shots. Like you think of like without Scott's
wait,
chips, 18.
not a 46, my bad. 42 is what they put down.
Ain't no way.
They said they made how many hole in ones they have? Their score they had 2 hole in ones.
Ain't no way.
And
unless they had like mulligans where you can like roll it. You know, we played in that one tournament where the roll, like you could toss it or roll it with your hand and it was an extension of the swing.
My bad. Just 1 hole in one, but they shot a 19 on the front and a 23 on the back. And their back nine is nothing but 3s, 1s, and 2s. On par 5, yeah. There ain't no way, man.
No, ain't no way.
I do want to talk about, though, on the same week that the RBC Heritage was happening, there was another PGA Tour event happening, and Joel
Isn't that
Damon.
strange?
Yeah, it is weird they split them up.
2 events.
Hey, the signature event guys come here, and everybody else that you can't qualify for here, we got something for you over here.
Punta Cana Corrales.
And Joel Damon, dude, was winning, and he on 16, 17, 18 goes bogey, bogey, bogey to lose
by a single stroke.
How rare is it for a PGA Tour player to bogey 3 in a row like that when you know you just need to make 1 par?
When you had the lead.
I feel like that's pretty rare for that to happen.
Yeah.
But he's
and
very
the one
open.
he missed, the big one he missed was like 2 feet.
Yeah, I saw that. He just kind of rushed it. But he's very open on the Full Swing episode about he kind of has like mental issues when he's golfing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But bogey, bogey, bogey. Then I do want to highlight Neil Shipley. I just feel connected to Neil Shipley because this is the first
him on one.
Yeah, this is the first swing we saw at Augusta National was Neil Shipley, so I feel like I'm connected to him.
He's our guy forever.
Yeah. Corn Ferry Tour. We need to get him on. We need to reach out to him on the pod.
Yeah, he's next.
Yep. Corn Ferry Tour. He makes a crazy birdie putt on the 5th playoff hole to win. So shout out Neil Shipley for that.
And it sat on the lip for a second too.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a really cool putt. Go watch it. I do want to ask you though your thoughts on this. Wesley Bryan suspended from the PGA for playing in the Live Duels, but at the same time, Grant is invited to play in a PGA Tour event.
The one who hosted the
on
Live
his
Duels
YouTube
on
channel.
His YouTube channel.
Is that not crazy?
It just feels like there was semblance of the two coming together, figuring out something, and now you see stuff like that, and you're like, no, they're never going to do it.
The fact that they suspended him is like it's an indirect message, kind of like that people are seeing through the bushes, like, oh, they're not doing anything. Because if they were really close, they wouldn't be suspending players for that.
So dumb.
I think it's a real bad look for them that, okay, you suspend Wesley, but then the same week you invite Grant to come play an event, which is a bad look for them. And then this week, the PGA is headed to Louisiana for the Zurich. This is a fun event. It's a team event. It's a 2-man team. Defending champs are Rory and Shane. Rory's going to be there. Last I saw, I haven't seen if he checked out or anything. But I was thinking that Joel Damon, who's coming off that tough loss, but he's partnered up with Harry Higgs. They're going to be a fun one to watch. That's what I think.
Who's the teams? Let's see.
I got you a list right here. There's not there's no big ones that you would think of off the top, but there is.
I was thinking it was mixed.
No, this is but I do like the Fitzpatrick brothers. A few years ago they had a chance.
Yeah. Shoot.
There's really.
I don't know who I would put money on.
Zach Johnson and Ryan Palmer would be a good one. Kisner's playing in it. That's a cool one.
I feel like ZB would get into an event. Oh, he is. He's with Patrick Fishburne. I was going to say, this feels like a ZB type event.
And a local legend here, Jason Duffner, will be in this event. He's trying to get him some money to help pay for some stuff.
Who is Carson Young? He's playing with Akshay.
I'm not sure. Camilo Villegas and Luke Donald, that will be a good team right there.
Siwoo and Sang Moon might be something.
Oh,
Matt McCarty and Mason Anderson.
Yeah,
there's a couple of good ones in there. It's not like you got a couple real good names, and you're like, oh, it's a team. They're not. Nobody cares.
This is one of those tournaments I'll definitely watch a little bit on Saturday and most of Sunday. I don't really care about
and then
Thursday,
you'll
Friday.
watch like this on Sunday.
Yeah, after church, I just got to be on.
Oh,
Who
they're on
won?
16.
Yeah, I got a few more minutes. Take a little more nap. Yeah,
Katie,
so
what's
that's
for
one.
dinner?
After the Masters, it's kind of like just a depression. It's like, oh, here we go. What do we look forward to now? So that's what's happening in the life of the PGA Tour. Little post-round recap for you. This is our segment we do, just kind of tell you what's happening in the life of BSG. This is one thing that we're going to be announcing in a few weeks. If you're a watcher, you know what I'm talking about. Zach and I are super excited about this. This is year 4 of making content. A lot of people kind of commenting like, why are y'all still doing this? There's no point in doing it. One, it's led to us meeting a lot of really cool people.
And 2, me and Casey are in love, so respect us.
I tell people all the time that Zach and I, we're going to golf together anyway, so why not film it? And
now we got all the equipment.
Yeah, and we already got so many cool connections from it. Why not continue to film it?
I was talking about it at work today, and I was telling one of the girls like what we've accomplished, and I was like, the biggest thing is like we meet people we never would have a chance to. Quinn is not talking to us if we message him.
Yeah, if we're just regular, not making content. And like for this is gonna be one of those deals you remember, like your first real deal. You're like, they took a chance on us,
Yeah.
And so this is one that we're gonna give everything we have to, and we're excited. And for you, if you're a listener and you actually like this brand, and if you want to try it out, we're gonna here soon have an affiliate link that you can shop with and get 15% off your order. And
we're gonna have a gift card soon, and
that's true.
3 weeks.
I tried some of this stuff on, and I promise you, I'm not saying this. This is some of the best quality stuff you'll wear. Very top notch, top level kind of gear. And so you need to be checking them out if you haven't already. Green Island video, we've got half of it done. I for sure will be finishing the other half this week. So I would go ahead and say this Friday, if you're listening to this, this Friday, Green Island will be coming out, which is Zach versus Casey part 2. We're going to be doing these throughout the year. This is the second one, and then we'll follow that up with Bay Point video, which is a breaking 50 attempt. What have you enjoyed so far, the breaking 50 or the me and you videos?
I feel like me and you play enough together as it is. It's fun to win, sucks to lose, but I feel like when you do the breaking 50 with the team, it's like the Ryder Cup. It's all of us, same mission. There's no bad vibes. You start losing a couple holes, you're like, oh, God. I'm gonna break something. But on these, it's like, okay, we got it. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go after it. I agree. I like it. I do really enjoy the me and you video because I feel like just me and you on camera together is fun, especially now that we're not dealing with the camera. And Zach, Miles is kind of handling that. It's a lot of fun. So we got that dropping. And I want to ask you this drop zone question. This is for everyone listening. What do you prefer, fall golf or spring golf?
Spring. Give me right when it starts warming up. Fall golf is okay. Great colors outside until your ball rolls under some leaves.
Till you can't find your golf ball. That's the worst. I'm with you. Fall golf is kind of like, to me, it feels so good outside, but it's like, oh, winter's coming.
And football season. I hate to play, you'll get that 12 o'clock kickoff. You're like, man, now I got to play fast because I want to see my team play. Yeah. Give me the spring.
The only downside of spring golf is the sneezing and the allergies.
Or you wake up and it's like 40 in the morning. So you got all these layers to get going.
That's true. So that's the drop zone. Let's know your answer. What you got coming up for Zach and I? We in 2 weeks, I believe, are going up to Macklemore Resort in North Georgia Mountains. Going to be playing the Highlands course, filming it for Zach versus Casey episode 3. And then after that, the next week, we're going to be heading up to Birmingham, Alabama for a grand opening of Johnny O's new store open up in Birmingham. And the boys are going.
I know. It's so wild, which I told Casey right when we started to sign with Johnny O, I was like, look, they got a new store coming. So wouldn't it be great if we were a part of it? And 2 days later, our contact there said, hey, what are y'all doing this weekend? We got a new store. I said, look at it.
We're there. Yeah.
We're here.
We're there. And so we're going to go up there, film some content. We're even going to do a gift card giveaway. And so I know for a lot of our listeners, if you're local, you're probably not going to make it to Birmingham. But if you are a Birmingham listener, May the 9th, I believe it is.
Weekend of the 9th.
Yep. We will be up in the store. Come swing by, come say hey. And we're going to be doing some giveaway, the gift card. So that's all I got for episode 143. We'll be back next week with 144. We don't miss unless it's a holiday, baby. This is our go-to. I heard we love the BSG podcast.
This is just easy. This is what I was telling the people that were. I was like, we do it every week. People try it a year, give up.
Not us.
So we're here, consistent, producing content.
Yep. We love, especially all you that listen. Shout out to you. We look at the stats, and we're thankful for all you that listen and watch. Thanks again to Quinn for coming on, and anybody of Quinn's buddies, friends listening. Appreciate y'all. Go follow him. Check us out on YouTube and subscribe. Help us just keep growing. And we'll see y'all for the next one.
Peace.